G'day there guys, and welcome back to another episode of r/older than you think I am. I'm your reader Marky today, and I hope you enjoy the stories. Every restaurant I go to, I get mistaken as a little one. Okay, so I'm 16 and 5'4", and every time me and my family go out to eat at a restaurant, we get asked, how many kids menus? By the way, my sister is 7 and about 4'3", so I get a little agitated, but meh. Then we get seated, and when we ask for drinks, the waiter comes back with styrofoam cups for me and my sis, and I get ticked. Another time we went to a seafood place and they ran out of kids' cups. My sister got one though, and even said, we ran out of kids' cups, so we just put a lid on a glass cup, if that's fine. My parents looked at me and chuckled as my eye was twitching. Note, I get mad real fast a lot. Hashtag bad temper. What an epic man this guy is. Alright, now it's time for some select quality comments down below. Mosby for Life says, I worked in a restaurant, and if a kid is over like 5 years old, and it looks like they can handle sitting without knocking over something, I give them a regular glass. I always wanted to be treated like an adult, and wanted a big glass, so I do the same for the kids that I wait on. And I want them as a waiter too, lol. Yeah, I feel that. I always wanted to be treated as an adult when I'm a kid, like, come on, man. You Ate My Sunshine says, speaking from the other side, it's totally worth it. I used to have this happen all the time, now I don't even get carded. Having baby number 2 aged me a few years. Kids' meals are always cheaper, and sometimes there's some really fun options. You'll have the rest of your life to have adult menu items, but there's only so long you can get away with the kids' stuff. Very reasonable and fair point. Flautist1302 says, I got treated the same way as my brother on a flight. The hostess asked my parents if it was okay if we had a full can of soft drink each. They usually gave half a can in a cup, and they complimented my parents on our manners. My brother was 15 and I was 25. I get put through as a child, like at mini golfs and the like, if I'm with my parents, even when we insist that I'm not. Drop Bears a Real 12, they are real, says, I'd be taking all the kids' discounts. This is what I was gonna say. You get to pay half the price for many things and can still do the full experience. I look super young, well into my 20s, and now that I'm 55 I can take advantage of some senior discounts. Yikes. But no one believes my age. I apparently look in my 30s to 40s to many people. Great segue I guess, lol. And last one, SavBav says, in all honesty, I'm 30 and still sometimes ask for a kids menu myself. But I can understand the frustration of someone assuming you're still a young kid. Mountain Fever says, definitely have better portions in the kids menu. If I was still young enough to be mistaken as a minor, I would definitely have taken advantage of this. Cheaper too. Alas, I'm 35, mistaken for 25 most of the time. But I have 3 kids myself, so I'll often not order food for myself and just eat what the kids don't. I'm a human garbage can, right? Well said. Wise words. And our next story was posted by user Smokey9000, titled, The Time I Almost Got Arrested as a 12-year-old Runaway. So this happened a year or 2 ago. I only thought now to post here. A couple things for reference. I am 5'2", I dislike wearing shoes, and I live in a small town of roughly up to 5,000 people, but this practically doubles in tourist season, which is when this took place. I played board games and Dungeons & Dragons with some friends of mine every Saturday and Sunday evening. It's a 12-minute walk from my place to theirs, so on this fine day, around 3 to 4 PM, I was walking to my friend's place with heavy metal music blasting in my ears. Probably Parkway Drive, but that's not relevant. I'm about 3 minutes away from my friend's place when this cop car quickly stops in front of me with another one doing a U-turn and stopping across the street and jogging up behind me. Internally, I'm freaking the frick out. Like, I must have done something bad to elicit this kind of response, though to my knowledge I've done nothing wrong, aside from letting some photocopy some books. I look at the officer in front of me and point at myself questioningly. He starts to say something, so I pull out my earbuds. Well, you're obviously not a 12-year-old and you're not crying, he says, pointing at the tattoo on my arm, shoulder to elbow. No, I respond questioningly. Someone called and reported a barefoot crying 12-year-old running away from home along this road. You're barefoot and you match the given description. Can we see some ID? No, I have no ID on me. I left it at home. I'm just walking to this road here to play some games with my friends. Well, if you have no ID, can you give a date of birth? Which I do, and they tell me to maybe wear some shoes next time. I was 22 to 23 at the time, and everyone I knew got a fudging kick out of me being mistaken as a child. It wasn't the first time, nor the last time it happened either. I don't know about that, guys. I don't really condone people walking barefoot. My dad's always been like, you're gonna walk on some glass and you do permanent damage to your feet. You walk on a nail. Which I get, so I don't really rep people walking around barefoot, but it's always your decision if you want to. Alright, so there are some gold nuggets down in the comments below that I'm going to read out by Yavanna12 and Imminent Riot. My son makes homemade armor out of cardboard and duct tape. He was wearing his full armor downtown during an event when the police stopped him. They said someone called said Thor was walking around downtown with no pants on. He clearly was wearing pants and he had no armor over his pants. Cops laughed it off, but really? Calling the cops for that? Son was 19 at the time. And Imminent Riot says, do you ever hurt your feet? I got a tiny sliver of glass in my foot once and it hurt so bad that I couldn't walk. I don't know how you'd be able to walk down a dirty sidewalk and not get hurt. So OP replies, I once walked around for 2 hours with an industrial wood staple in my foot. Thought it was a blister until it started catching on the carpet at home. If you keep walking barefoot, your feet will toughen. And they say the more you go without shoes, the less it hurts. Also, it depends on your weight. If a heavier set person stepped on a rock barefooted, it would probably hurt more than if a lighter person stepped on it. So since OP is so small, they're mistaken as a child a lot, it means that not only is their feet tough, but there's not a lot of weight pushing down on whatever they step on. Valid. Our next story was posted by user Mocha Latte Man, a very recurring character in these series. Titled, Sergeant addresses me as son. So I'm a retired USAFR officer. I've always looked younger than I am. When I was 26, I was promoted to 03, which is captain. The reserve base I was stationed at was mostly AFR, but there were also Navy, Army, and Marine Corps reservists stationed there. Soon after I was promoted, I arrived at the base to begin a weekend duty obligation. I was to attend a presentation to be held in my CO's conference room. A Marine Corps major was to head the presentation. I arrived at the office and was wearing a Class B uniform. I still had my coat on and was in the process of hanging it up, and my service cap was tucked in my belt since I was indoors. Soon, the major and his aide, a middle-aged four-striped sergeant, arrived. I did not see them as I had my back turned away. Without intro, the sergeant said, "Hey son, we're here for the presentation. Where can we set up?" I hung up my coat, turned around and replied, "I don't know, Sergeant, just head towards the front and one of the NCOs will help you." The look of "oops" on the sergeant's face, and the stifled laugh on the major's is still in my memory, even 20 plus years after the event. And C. Simon's son says, "Thanks for not getting on his ass about it. Things like this happen and makes everyone look bad in the military when someone makes an honest mistake and gets teamed for it." Mocha Latte Man says, "Guys like him do the legwork and make us snot-nosed officers look good. Honest mistake, I've always looked younger, and from the back, all he saw was a slim kid in uniform. Easy to mistake for an airman." Our next story, again, is posted by Mocha Latte Man, titled, "Stranger Thought I Was Pulling a Fast One." I'm now a retired USAFR officer. I've always looked younger than my true age. Even now at the age of 52, I have to show ID at my local chain liquor store, because the policy is to card anyone who looks 50 or younger. When I was 38, I was prompted to 04 Major. During a time when I was on duty, I went to a chain restaurant and was wearing fatigues. I was alone, sitting at the bar and ordering food to go. This particular chain restaurant offered discounts for active military. As I was sitting, the guy next to me, an older, male civilian, stared at me for a while and then leaned over and whispered, "Hey kid, if you're gonna pretend to be a soldier, at least choose a realistic rank. No one is gonna buy that you're an officer, let alone a major." He then added, "By the way, great costume, looks almost real." He said nothing else, but constantly flashed a knowing grin as I waited. Once I got my food and paid and headed out, he winked to me as if to say, "Well done, kid. Oh, there's a really nice comment down here by him. He says, I was 23 when I got commissioned as a second lieutenant. I wasn't even shaving every day. I was also pretty slim, so I kind of looked like a teenage kid playing soldier. My dad liked to tease me when I wore my uniform. He would constantly end every sentence with "Sir." When my oldest son got his commission as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps, his mother, my ex-wife, and I attended the ceremony. My ex is 14 years older than I. A couple people at the ceremony thought that I was his older brother, and that my ex was a mother to both of us. There were a couple of surprised faces when my son corrected them by saying that not only am I his father, but I'm also an Air Force colonel. Oh, yikes. And our last story is titled, Me and my long-distance boyfriend didn't meet for nearly a year because our families thought we were older/younger. This is a fun story. I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 months, and we met 5 months ago. We met through a mutual friend and were good friends for 3 years, but didn't really talk much. I messaged him because he was going through a tough time and I wanted to show him my support. About 2 weeks later, we confessed we had feelings and had been dating since then. That was a year ago. Our families didn't want us to meet, obviously, because stranger danger, even though I'm 22 and he's 21. He looks 26 to 30 years old, mostly because of his beard. He doesn't have it anymore, he just kept it because I liked it. Without a beard, he looks 22 to 24. My family immediately thought that he was a pedophile. His family thought he shouldn't date me because I look 14. We showed our families our birth certificates, and they finally accepted us for us to date and meet. I get why though, lol. Someone's like, get Fortnite. What? Sorry, I'm laughing at the inconsistencies of this story. I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 months. We met 5 months ago. Good friends for 3 years. Dating since then, which was a year ago. Sorry, what? Have you known this guy for 3 years or 5 months? Have you been dating him for 1 year or 5 months? The timeline's really confusing. So they said, we've been friends for 3 years. We met 5 months ago, and the same day we met was when he asked me to be his girlfriend. Sorry it was confusing. Alright, that makes sense now. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Tell me what you thought of it down in the description below or the comments. Tell me whatever you thought about this. My brain is broken after that last post. As always, I hope you have a good day and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.